All right, guys, I'm gonna do a PSA for the boys about first date tips. I think a lot of guys have a problem with first dates and getting a second date, or they don't know what happened or why. So I'm just gonna give a few kind of common sense tips, but a lot of guys don't know. So I wrote a few things down and I'm gonna let you know what I think will help you get a second date. So first things first, if you wanna get a first date in the first place, no dick pics. I know this is hard to ask of some of you gentlemen, but really you're only shooting yourself in the foot here because nobody wants them. And if they do want them, that's cool. They're gonna ask you, but don't ask them if they want them and don't just send them. It's just not something, to do if you want a girl to go out with you. The next thing would be when you go out on a date, make sure you're a gentleman. So I'm not saying that we gotta be too old fashioned, but just kind of open doors, pull out chairs. Next thing is never under any circumstances, even if you feel like she's into you, reference sex or any sexual innuendos. It makes you look douchey. And I'm just saying this because even though you may feel like the girl's into you or, because she's laughing a lot or whatever, and you feel like you're a good looking guy, whatever it is, just don't say any sexual innuendos and reference sex or anything about sex. Just almost act, I know it sounds weird, but act almost asexual. For me at least, it just makes me think oh, why isn't he coming after me like that? Why, girls are used to guys just throwing themselves at them. And so if you do the complete opposite, usually it gets a better reaction. The third is listen and ask questions. Girls like to talk about themselves. And this goes for women too. You always want to ask questions and listen to the person that you are on a date with because you want them to feel like you're into the situation and that you like them and that, you respect them and all that. So that's a really good thing to do. Maybe even write them down before the date. And then the next thing is seem to have goals and general motivation. Seem to have goals and general motivation. Girls appreciate a go-getter, but don't be a bullshitter or a bragger either. So just kind of seem motivated. You can talk about what you're doing or what your future plans are. You just don't want to seem like the kind of guy who just name drops or says that he's involved in all this shit that, or telling you how much money he makes or anything like that. But it is good to show the girl that you have motivation and goals because women are always looking towards the future. That's pretty much what we do. Next thing is never split the check, always pay. I'm not saying that you can never split the check in any circumstances. I do it all the time. I like to pay for myself sometimes. That's just how I am. I'm a little bit dominant. But when you're on a first date, you always want to kind of be the one to initiate that and it just shows her that, you really wanted to take her out. And it's a gentlemanly thing to do. Also have a plan for the next night. Have a plan for the night. Never ask her where we're going. Be assertive. So one of the worst things is when you're about to go on a date with someone, you're like, oh, so where do you want to go? Or where are we going? Girls do not want to hear that from a guy. From experience, I've heard it from a lot of girls actually. They want you to have a plan, oh, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go here and I'm gonna take you here, they love that shit. And the next thing is make eye contact. No matter how big her personality is, make sure you make eye contact and, you don't want to be darting around the room either. It just shows a lack of interest in general. Also have a few interesting subjects to conversate about ahead of time to keep the convo interesting. Sometimes when you're new talking to someone, it can get a little bit boring because you're it's better to actually have a few things ahead of time to talk about, maybe think of a few subjects and bring it up, and it shows kind of an assertiveness as well. I think women just like that in general. Not dominant or pushy or controlling, but we do like assertiveness and the fact that you know who you are and what you like, that sort of thing. Then also don't say too much because I'm guilty of that as at this moment. So, and then there we go again. All right, number 9. At the end of the date, walk her to the door. Do not try and come up unless she brings you up. This is important. Some guys will kind of linger, or they're so did you want me, should we hang out? Or, just make the first date about getting to know her, even if you really, really want to, give her the D. You want to just get to know her and make her feel comfortable. And if she asks you like, hey, you want to come up, like, and you want to come up, that's cool. But just don't push all that stuff on her, you know? Stop trying to like shove the D down her throat, so to speak. Okay. So you just want to make sure that she feels comfortable. That's why I just say leave the sexual stuff out of it until, you know, you guys are more comfortable together. But that is my general advice for a gentleman who would like to have a second date. And those are the things that I think would help if they were dating me. However, it would also help if they had a 12-pound dong. I'm just fucking. Okay, we're at the end. All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. All right, thanks.